lost about 14.5 miles of pipeline. 2 tanks, although they weren't inundated, they're rendered, inoperable basically.
Inoperable, okay.
Right. So all that in total, coordinating with FEMA, doing the project evaluation after the disaster, we came up with an estimate that FEMA approved of about $40 million worth
Okay.
of water infrastructure. Pretty much all of that was lost.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a great point, because as you see, some of our thought processes for some of our proposed projects for the 428 funding. As we know, the 428 funding is an alternate procedures process with FEMA. A little bit different from their former, I think they called it public assistance type projects.
The distinction is that the public assistance project goes to replace that infrastructure directly where it was, versus the 428 gives you flexibility that if it doesn't make sense to put that infrastructure back in there, you can look at alternate projects.
Correct. And so it allows us an opportunity to, I guess, reset.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's one of the main things that we wanted to accomplish when we came up with our list of projects to utilize this FEMA funding. And what we wanted to do was be in line with the recovery plans. Mm-hmm. And I believe some of the objectives for the recovery plans were, of course, resilience and economic redevelopment.
Sure.
Right? And so that's the thought processes that we use to come up with some of the projects, along with some major considerations that we had to incorporate into our decision making was, one was the results of the buyout program.
Correct.
Because it really would not be prudent for us to invest or reinvest in infrastructure if people were not going to go back there.
We're looking at alternate projects. We're looking at analyzing the data that we're receiving back, and people have moved out of Puna, people have moved into Puna, but a lot of them have moved kind of, can say HPP, up Curtistown, Mountain View. So there's still a lot of folks that lived in Puna, that lived in Kapoho area that are still in Puna, mm-hmm. which is neat because your list of alternate projects are in Puna.
And it just makes sense, right? If we have this opportunity, let's reinvest in the area and hopefully provide even additional opportunities beyond what was lost.
Correct. And that leads me to one of your projects you have on here is bringing the water line down to HPP. The county has 20 acres in HPP for a park. It currently isn't served by any water, really limited on infrastructure. So this is an opportunity to possibly bring water infrastructure down there, which to me is critical for a park. Which now we've lost something, but we're gaining something new.
Correct. Right, exactly. And glad you brought that particular project up, Zendo, because it kind of checked a bunch of boxes. Mm-hmm. Resiliency. So right now we just have one water line coming down Kīlauea Road. Right. Mm-hmm. If there's a main break,
done.
That's it until we fix it.
Sure.
What this HPP water line project will do will take a dead end that's in Maku Hawaiian Homelands mm-hmm. right now, run it into HPP, okay. to an existing line that's coming down Paradise Drive.
Okay.
And then from there, we're going to come across, hit that 20-acre parcel
yep.
on the corner of Kīlauea, and I'm not sure what the exact street name is, but
in the mid or low 20s,
25th, right.
26th, yeah.
And then come up Kīlauea back to Kīlauea
mm-hmm.
Road. So what that does now is that provides a loop system for us. So
okay.
if there's a main break in one of those segments, water can still flow. Critical, as well as, again, like we talked about water quality previously,
yeah.
right? Now we have water moving, not in a dead-end situation, but it can flow in both directions.
Sure, so it's improving the general water quality for those users, creating resiliency, redundancy to a degree. Mm-hmm. Okay, and
as well as opportunity, right?
And I think that opportunity is huge, right? And obviously water plays a huge part in that with any of this. What I've seen is, and through one of our last community outreach meetings we had, you put together a list of projects that basically oversubscribes the amount of money that we have.
Right. So the other project that I did want to mention is water line improvements within Pohoa Village.
Okay.
I think that's also in line with some of the objectives for the recovery planning process.
Yes.
But like you said, all of these, we subscribed or over prescribed, I guess, a list of projects. So I think our total right now, we have about a dozen or so projects mm-hmm. that right now, based on our best guess estimate, it comes out to about $55 million worth of
Okay.
projects
Okay.
for the area.
So ultimately, through this process, it looks like we'll actually be able to bolster the water system in Puna beyond what it was before.
Right, right. And again, I mean, this is, kudos to FEMA with coming up with this process, because I think for lava recovery, I think it's a really valid option for us.